Bob's back. Yeah, you're going to love it.
So Mr. Global and Mark Cuban and other liberals have been spreading this BS about how Saudi Arabia didn't pump oil during Biden's term, and that's why we had inflation. Well, you can see right here we had the highest oil production.
That's 2015, Bob.
During the Biden administration from 21 to 22. And
that's 2015, Bob.
His term.
Go over there.
So that's a bunch of BS there.
Go that way.
You can see that. Remember the tankers floating around in the ocean because nobody wanted the oil during COVID. So that's why the production cut down.
I don't think Bob even thinks the OPEC 2020 thing happened. So Bob is saying that I don't know what Mark Cuban has said. And why'd you call me a liberal, Bob? I'm not a fucking liberal. Don't call me that. That we said Saudi Arabia quit pumping oil. I never said that. I said OPEC reduced production. That is a common, like we all know that. Everyone knows that. Except for Bob. Let me show you something, Bob, since you don't know what OPEC is, apparently. So, Bob, here is Saudi Arabia. Change in production, right? Change in production. Big drop, price spike through the roof. This is where they start restoring production from at the end of the OPEC 2020 deal, right? That's where they start. And then as soon as we got to the end of the OPEC 2020 deal, what did they do? They started making production cuts again, right? But here's the thing, Bob. It's not about Saudi Arabia. It's about OPEC. And as you can see, OPEC was producing 37 million barrels a day under the Trump administration and 34 under the Biden administration. That is all of OPEC. Now, why would Saudi Arabia produce significantly more one year than they do other years, Bob? Because it's OPEC. Do you understand? They produce as one. You know what this is, Bob? You know what this is? 2022. See that huge drop? That's Nigeria's production, Bob. You didn't even know Nigeria was in OPEC, did you, Bob? No, you didn't. See, when countries like Nigeria, who aren't very stable, lose a lot of oil production, countries like Saudi Arabia have to pick up the slack. But it doesn't mean that OPEC as a whole is producing more. You understand? Yeah, Nigeria's had a lot of problems, Bob. Yeah, their oil production fell by nearly 12% in 2022. That's a lot of oil, Bob. You know who else's oil production fell in 2022, Bob? Iraq's. Yeah, and Egypt's too. Yeah. So that's the whole point of having a cartel, Bob, is so when some of these countries that are somewhat unstable lose production, other countries can, stabilize global demand and pricing. That's the whole point of having a cartel, Bob. And I can't believe you still don't think the OPEC 2020 deal is a thing. And it's not called the Saudi Arabia 2020 deal, Bob. It's called OPEC 2020 because it's OPEC, not Saudi Arabia, Bob. Now, here's the thing that I'm disappointed in, Bob. This is the site you were on right here. This is the site you were on, which means you could see all of this data. You could literally see it all. It was right in front of you. You're being dishonest. You're being dishonest, Bob. Hey, Bob, do you like my accent wall? Yeah, that's what this is. Since you don't know shit about oil and gas, I thought you didn't know shit about this either. Yeah, my wife did this. Yeah, my wife did this. Yeah. Painted right over the pictures, Bob. Painted right over the pictures. Can you believe that shit? Thanks, Bob.